remember about 18 months after I was a full-fledged housekeeping manager, I was asked if I was interested in opening up a new hotel. Back in those days, if you were mobile, if you're able to move around, and you didn't have to move like it was like I was moving from state to state. It was within LA. There's probably, from where I live, there's probably 50 Marriott hotels or 50 courtyards and counting, right? So it was not uncommon for them to ask you to move. And if you were movable or mobile, you got your shot at, opening new hotels. So the opportunity I was given was at the Hacienda Heights Courtyard by Marriott in Hacienda Heights, California. Now, just so happened that I still lived in Ontario. Although I worked at LAX Courtyard, I actually lived in Ontario, California, which was about at least an hour outside of LA. So I would pass Hacienda Heights every day on the 60 freeway going to LAX. So to me, I thought that was perfect. So when it came available, I'm like, heck yeah. So to know that I was, doing a good job at LAX, and although I did not want to leave LAX, but I didn't want to continue to drive that hour plus to get to LAX from Ontario. So when I found out that they were interested in me taking over that hotel or actually opening that hotel, so it wasn't a situation where I was taking over for anyone. It was a brand new hotel that was still under construction. I would put together my team, not someone else's team. I didn't have to inherit anyone else's team. I was hand-picking employees. That was interesting. It was fun. It was kind of scary. It was challenging. I remember the managers that were there as well. The managers, like I was a housekeeping manager, right? So I was the opening housekeeping manager, but there's also a restaurant manager, there's a front office manager as well, and there's a chief engineer. So that was interesting, just building synergies with other people that maybe you didn't know a great deal about. Of course I remember their names. Like 30 years later, I remember their names. Ann Nesbitt was our restaurant manager. John Belafontaine, he was our front office manager. Scott Howard, it's funny, I still remember his name. Scott Howard was our chief engineer, and we had two general managers. We started with one, and then we had an opening general manager. Matt Diamond was the original general manager, and then Joe Carrillo was our opening general manager. Yeah, I remember everybody. Now that we know our team, right, our management team, now it was time for us to hire people. So since the hotel was still under construction, it was nowhere near close to opening. I want to say maybe several months, probably 90 days before it was due to open, we had this hiring hall where we would practically interview people and hire people on the spot. We did it at the Quality Hotel, which was I guess that was near Hacienda Heights as well. So we officed out of there for at least 90 days. I don't think we've ever, to this date, I think I interviewed more people in that probably week time frame than I've ever hired in my entire 30-year career, right? Because that was the first time I actually opened up a hotel, right? So you're going through a lot of people. You're going through a lot of applicants. You meet a lot of people. And not just for your employees, but you're also sitting in on interviews for the restaurant, or maybe housekeeping, or not housekeeping because I'm the housekeeping manager, or at the front desk. So you were involved in everything, and we got a chance to know everybody as far as, the managers and everything, because you're spending so much time with them, so you're knowing everything. And to this day, I still remember, some quirks of these people, and I'm sure they remember some quirks about me as well. And now that they're hired, now they need to be trained, right? So just so happened that part of opening up a hotel, you have managers that are coming in, managers that are currently maybe housekeeping managers, front office managers, restaurant managers. They're coming in as part of a task force team to assist you with training people, with organizing, based on your specifications. So it's all based on that opening manager's vision of what he wants or she wants their department to look like. I remember, kind of being challenged, by a couple of managers that were, they're managers somewhere else. They're like, well, what is the game plan? What's going on here? I said, when I get the game plan, you'll know what the game plan is. Okay, so let's just be, let's be open to change, because if I put a game plan if I put together, there's going to be changes, right? Because maybe something that I thought is going to work, maybe it won't work. Okay, so I said just be open to change, because just because I put something down in writing does not mean it's set in stone. Well, guess what? That didn't go over well with some people, but you know what? It was my hotel. You were sent here to assist me. So, there's always going to be some challenges and things like that. And we work things out. So one of the challenges when opening up a new hotel, that everything is not working, right? Or everything is not everything is not 100%. So you're punching rooms. Punching rooms means there's some deficiencies in, say guest room. Say you're walking in the guest room and you're looking at it from a guest perspective. Maybe the light switch is broke. Maybe the light's not working. So what you have to do is put little sticky, almost like sticky notes with little sticky circle kind of things. Like they're like red, meaning they weren't ready. Stop, repair this. So maybe it was chipped paint. Maybe, like I said, a light fixture was broke or whatever. So you would put little labels on there, and then the construction people would come back behind you and make sure those things were fixed. Even elevators weren't working either. Most of the time, it seemed like during the construction, during the pre-opening, it wasn't. They were not operational. And thank God that the hotel was only 3 stories high, right? So 3 floors, because we had to carry, linen upstairs, because some of the linen closets were there. We had to put together carts, and then you had to take those upstairs as well. So there's a lot of things that you had to do. Nothing was perfect, and that's okay, because that was all a learning curve, right? So now if I was to open up a hotel, of course I would know what to expect, right? Or I can have that conversation with people. Oh, did you go through this? Did you go through that? But it was a blast. I wouldn't have changed that for anything in the world. So after about 3 long months of, prepping and punching rooms and putting things together and organizing, the hotel finally opened. And it didn't open, it wasn't like sold out when it was open. It opened, I remember the occupancy being really low. In fact, that's the same hotel that I got trained to be a front office manager as well. So as soon as we opened, I went into training to become, a front office manager. So, but it was a great experience. I love that hotel. Hacienda Heights Courtyard, it's still there. And then recently, maybe about last year, 2024, I was able to go by there again. And although, it's been renovated several times, color scheme is different, it's the same footprint that I remember from day one when I went there and walked the property, even long before before it was open. So those are experiences that I will never forget, and I just thank Marriott for giving me the opportunity to open up a new hotel. So there you go.